Hey everyone, and welcome to my BNB Glow channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Paternity proven. Electra calls police to arrest Luna. Will confirmed as father. Luna in handcuffs. The world of the bold and the beautiful is once again spinning out of control as a shocking DNA revelation tears families apart and sends one young woman's life crashing down in front of everyone she loves. The long-running question surrounding the paternity of Luna Nozawa's unborn child has finally been answered, and the truth has sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. The DNA test results are in. The father has been confirmed. And in the most explosive twist yet, Electra, once Luna's friend and ally, calls the police to have Luna arrested in front of the Forresters and Spencers. What follows is an unforgettable chain of heartbreak, betrayal, and revenge that will go down as one of the most emotional storylines in Bold and the Beautiful history. The build-up, secrets, lies, and growing suspicion. For weeks, Luna had been living under the suffocating weight of secrets. Her pregnancy had already caused scandal, but the mystery of her baby's father pushed tensions to a breaking point. The Forresters wanted answers, the Spencers demanded the truth, and Luna's silence only made things worse. R.J. Forrester tried to stand by her, believing that love could overcome anything. But even he started to question her loyalty as whispers grew louder. "Luna, just tell me who the father is," he pleaded one night. "I'll support you, no matter what." But the lies, they're tearing us apart. Luna's lips trembled as she whispered, "It's complicated, R.J. You wouldn't understand." And she was right, because even she couldn't understand how everything had spiraled so far out of control. Behind the scenes, Electra, Luna's supposed best friend and co-designer at Forrester Creations, had been investigating. She'd seen the inconsistencies, the missing medical appointments, the quiet visits Luna made to the Spencer estate. And when Luna refused to open up, Electra took matters into her own hands. She stole a DNA sample from Luna's discarded water bottle and matched it with one from the man she secretly suspected was the father, Will Spencer, Bill's younger son. DNA revealed, Will Spencer is the father. When the results came back, the entire fashion house came to a standstill. The test was conclusive, Will Spencer was the biological father of Luna's unborn child. The revelation sent shockwaves through every corner of Los Angeles. How could this happen? Will, barely out of college and living under the shadow of his powerful father, had somehow gotten involved with Luna during the chaotic aftermath of her imprisonment and public scandal. According to sources close to the situation, Luna and Will had crossed paths one night at a charity event hosted by Bill Spencer. Both were struggling, Luna, with guilt and trauma from her past, Will, with resentment toward his father and the endless pressure to live up to the Spencer name. What began as comfort between two broken souls became something far more complicated. But now, that one night had come back to haunt them both. The public confrontation. The truth came out in a way no one expected. It was supposed to be a quiet day at Forrester Creations, the launch preview for RJ's latest fashion line. Cameras, models, and family filled the room as Ridge, Brooke, and Steffi proudly stood by. But the peace was shattered when Electra burst through the doors, waving an envelope in her hand. "Stop the show," she shouted, her voice trembling with fury. "You all need to hear this, the truth about Luna." Luna froze, her heart pounding. "Electra, what are you doing?" Electra's eyes burned with betrayal. "I trusted you, Luna. I defended you when everyone else doubted you. But you've been lying to all of us. To RJ, to the Forresters, to the Spencers." She turned to Ridge and Bill, her hands shaking as she handed them the sealed DNA report. "Here. See for yourselves. The paternity test results, they prove who the real father is." A stunned silence fell over the room as Bill ripped open the envelope. His face went pale as he read the words. "DNA match, 99.9% probability. Will Spencer is the biological father." Gasps erupted from the crowd. Brooke's eyes widened, Steffi covered her mouth, and RJ staggered back as if struck by lightning. "Will?" Ridge repeated, disbelief in his voice. "Your son?" Bill's voice cracked. That can't be right, but the paper in his hands didn't lie. RJ turned to Luna, tears brimming. Tell me it's not true. Please, Luna, tell me this is a mistake. But Luna couldn't speak. Her silence said it all. Electra's breaking point. What no one knew was that Electra had her own reasons for turning on Luna. For months, she had been secretly in love with RJ, and Luna's relationship with him had left Electra feeling invisible. But when she learned that Luna had not only betrayed RJ but also involved Will, a minor scandal waiting to erupt, she snapped. You've hurt enough people, Luna. Electra screamed, tears streaming down her face. You lied to RJ, you humiliated the Forresters, and you dragged a young man into your mess. You think you can just walk away from this? Luna sobbed, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was lost, I didn't know what to do. But Electra's pain had turned to rage. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. This is Electra Summers, she said firmly. I'm calling to report Luna Nozawa for statutory misconduct and fraud related to falsified paternity documentation. The crowd gasped as sirens were heard in the distance. Luna in handcuffs. Moments later, the doors burst open as two police officers entered Forrester Creations. The room was a blur of chaos and shouting. RJ ran to Luna, standing between her and the officers. No. You can't take her. She's scared, she's pregnant. One officer responded, We have a warrant, Mr. Forrester. Step aside. RJ, it's okay, Luna whispered through her tears. I can't run from this anymore. The officers read her rights as they slipped cold metal handcuffs around her wrists. Luna's sobs filled the air as she looked toward Poppy, who had just arrived, screaming, Stop. Please, she didn't do anything. She's my daughter. RJ followed them out, shouting, I'll get you out, Luna. I swear. But Luna's eyes were fixed on Will, standing at the edge of the crowd, pale and trembling. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I never wanted to ruin your life. Will's voice cracked. I didn't mean for this either. As Luna was led away, cameras flashed and reporters outside shouted questions. Luna, is it true? Is Will the father? How long have you been hiding this? The woman who once dreamed of designing beautiful gowns for the Forrester legacy was now being driven away in a police car, her wrists bound, her future uncertain. The aftermath, chaos and consequences. The fallout was instant. Bill Spencer, torn between fury and guilt, lashed out in every direction. My son's name will not be dragged through the mud for this, he roared. If anyone leaked this, I'll destroy them. Ridge confronted Electra, furious at her public ambush. You had no right to expose her like that. Electra shot back, no right? She's been lying to all of you for months. Someone had to stop her before she hurt anyone else. But not everyone agreed. Steffi warned Electra that she might have gone too far. You think you're a hero, but you just ruined lives. Luna's mistake doesn't justify what you did. Meanwhile, RJ sat alone in the Forrester design office, staring at Luna's sketches. Each drawing, full of love and creativity, now felt like a ghost of what could have been. His voice broke as he whispered, How did we get here? Poppy's fight for her daughter. Outside the police station, Poppy stood before reporters, furious and desperate. My daughter is not a criminal, she declared. She's been through hell and back. Yes, she made mistakes, but she doesn't deserve this. Luna needs help, not handcuffs. But the law was clear, and with Electra's official statement and the DNA proof, Luna faced multiple charges, including falsification of medical documents and potential misconduct related to Will's age at the time of conception. Bill used his influence to keep Will out of the media's reach, but privately, the guilt tore him apart. My son's life is ruined, he confessed to Brooke. And Luna, she's carrying his child. What have we done? Behind bars once more. As Luna sat in a holding cell, the same cold feeling from her last imprisonment washed over her. Only this time, she wasn't just fighting for her freedom, she was fighting for her baby. In a heartbreaking moment, she whispered to her unborn child, "I don't know how we'll get through this, but I promise, Mommy's going to try. I won't let them take you from me." Her words echoed softly in the cell, a plea for mercy in a world that had given her none. Next on The Bold and the Beautiful. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers tease that this is only the beginning of Luna's shocking downfall. As the investigation deepens, new evidence may surface suggesting Luna was framed, or that Electra's proof was tampered with to destroy her once and for all. Meanwhile, Will Spencer's mental state begins to crumble under the public scrutiny, and Bill is forced to face a devastating choice: protect his son, or tell the full truth to save Luna and their unborn grandchild. In the courtroom drama to come, the line between justice and vengeance will blur, and the truth may be even darker than anyone imagined. Because in Los Angeles, nothing stays hidden forever. Justice verdict. Luna sentenced to 30 years in prison. Luna tears in court. Bold and the Beautiful. The walls of the Los Angeles courthouse trembled as The Bold and the Beautiful delivered one of its most gut-wrenching and heartbreaking storylines in years. After months of emotional turmoil, betrayals, shocking DNA twists, and explosive courtroom confrontations, Luna Nozawa's fate has finally been decided. In a stunning turn of events, the judge handed down the harshest sentence imaginable: 30 years in prison. The once beloved young designer, who had once been a bright light in the Forrester family, broke down in tears as the verdict was read. Families screamed, hearts shattered, and an entire legacy was left reeling. This is the story of how Luna's dream turned into a nightmare, and how justice, in the cruelest twist, might not be justice at all. The final day of trial. The morning began with tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. The courtroom was packed, reporters, fans, family members, and former friends all gathered to witness the verdict that would change everything. Ridge Forrester sat beside Brooke, his jaw tight with worry. Across the aisle, Bill Spencer and his son Will were stone-faced, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Poppy, Luna's devastated mother, clutched a tissue in her trembling hand, whispering silent prayers for mercy. Luna, pale and exhausted from sleepless nights, sat at the defendant's table. She wore a simple cream dress, her design, though now just a painful reminder of the life she'd lost. Her eyes were red-rimmed from crying, but she held her head high, refusing to crumble before the world that had already condemned her. Her attorney, Carter Walton, placed a comforting hand on hers. "No matter what happens today," he whispered, "you need to know you're not alone." But Luna wasn't sure she believed that anymore. The prosecutor's final blow. When the trial began weeks earlier, Luna had hoped the truth would save her, that people would see she never meant to hurt anyone. But the prosecution painted a very different picture: a young woman who manipulated, deceived, and broke the law to protect her lies. In his closing argument, the district attorney stood before the court, his voice cold and sharp. "Ladies and gentlemen, Luna Nozawa is not a victim of circumstance, she's a master manipulator. She lied about her child's paternity, falsified medical documents, and seduced a member of the Spencer family, all while hiding behind her innocent image. The evidence speaks for itself. Actions have consequences." He then turned to Luna directly, his words cutting through the air. "Miss Nozawa, you played with people's lives, and now, justice demands payment." The words echoed like a hammer against steel. Luna's tearful plea. When it was her turn to speak, Luna stood, trembling but determined. She didn't read from notes, she spoke from her heart. Her voice cracked as she began. "I never wanted any of this. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I made mistakes, I lied because I was scared. I was young, confused, and broken after everything that happened to me. But I'm not a criminal. I'm just a woman who lost her way." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she turned to face Will. "Will, I never wanted to ruin your life. You were kind to me when no one else was. I don't expect forgiveness, I just hope one day you understand that I wasn't trying to destroy you." Her gaze then fell on RJ, who sat in the gallery, expression unreadable. "RJ, you believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You saw the good in me. I wish I could go back and change everything, but I can't. Please, Don't let this be how you remember me. Her voice faltered, and she collapsed into sobs as Carter helped her back to her seat. Even the judge paused for a moment, visibly shaken by the emotion in her words. RJ's emotional breakdown. As Luna wept, RJ couldn't take it anymore. He stood abruptly, his voice breaking through the courtroom silence. Stop. You've all turned her into a monster when she's not one, he shouted, eyes burning with tears. She made mistakes, yes, but 30 years? For what? For being human? The bailiff tried to quiet him, but RJ pressed on. You all loved her when she was designing dresses for your fashion shows, when she was the sweet, talented Luna. But now that she's made mistakes, you throw her away like she's nothing. Ridge stood and gently pulled his son back down, whispering, RJ, don't make it worse. But the damage was done. The room buzzed with tension. The verdict. The judge returned after a brief recess. Everyone rose as he entered the courtroom. Luna's heart pounded in her chest, each beat louder than the last. The judge's voice was steady, emotionless. In the matter of the state of California versus Luna Nozawa, on the charges of falsification of legal documents, obstruction of justice, and criminal misconduct resulting in public harm. The pause that followed felt like an eternity. This court finds the defendant guilty on all counts. Gasps rippled through the room. Poppy cried out, collapsing into Bill's arms as Brooke tried to steady her. RJ buried his face in his hands, shaking. The judge continued. Given the severity of these offenses, and the impact on the victims involved, this court hereby sentences Luna Nozawa to 30 years in a California state correctional facility. 10 years without the possibility of parole. Luna's world shattered. She couldn't breathe. She gripped the edge of the table as her knees buckled, sobbing uncontrollably. 30 years? Poppy screamed, her voice echoing through the chamber. You're sentencing my daughter to die in there. Carter immediately stood, objecting. Your Honor, this sentence is far too harsh given the lack of prior convictions and the emotional trauma. But the gavel slammed down. Enough, Mr. Walton. This court has made its decision. Luna in tears. The courtroom descended into chaos as the bailiff approached Luna to place handcuffs on her. She didn't resist, she couldn't. Her tears blurred everything around her as she whispered, please. I can't go back there. Not again. RJ tried to run to her, but the guards blocked him. Luna. I'll fight this. I promise. Luna turned her tear-streaked face toward him and managed a weak smile. You always did believe in miracles, RJ. Don't stop now. Her wrists were shackled, the sound of the metal echoing through the silent room. As she was led away, Poppy screamed after her, I love you, baby. I'll never stop fighting for you. Bill sat frozen, guilt written all over his face. Will buried his face in his hands, whispering, this is all my fault. And as Luna disappeared through the heavy wooden doors, a single tear rolled down Brooke's cheek. That poor girl, she whispered. She didn't deserve this. The fallout, families at war. In the days following the sentencing, Los Angeles was consumed by outrage. Social media exploded with divided opinions, some calling for Luna's freedom, others defending the verdict as justice. At Forrester Creations, the mood was grim. Steffi called an emergency meeting, insisting that the company release a statement distancing itself from Luna's actions. We can't let this scandal destroy our brand, she argued. RJ refused. She's still part of this family, whether you like it or not. Not anymore, Steffi snapped. She crossed a line none of us can come back from. Ridge, torn between his children, quietly ended the argument with a single phrase, we stand for forgiveness, even when it hurts. Meanwhile, at Spencer Publications, Bill was consumed by regret. I destroyed that girl, he admitted to Katie. I let the system eat her alive. She needed help, not punishment. Katie placed a hand on his arm. Then fix it, Bill. Use your power for something good this time. Behind bars. In prison, Luna struggled to adjust. The clanging of metal doors, the harsh fluorescent lights, the constant fear, it all came rushing back like a nightmare she couldn't escape. But this time, she wasn't the same girl who had once hoped for redemption. She was a woman stripped of everything: love, freedom, and dignity. Each night, she sat by her cell window, whispering to herself, just one more day. One more day. Her fellow inmates whispered about her, the designer girl, the scandal mom. But Luna kept her head down, surviving one moment at a time. Then one evening, as she sketched designs in the margins of an old newspaper, a guard approached. "You've got a visitor." Luna's heart skipped. When she stepped into the visitation room, she froze. RJ was there, holding a folder full of papers. "I'm appealing the sentence," he said firmly. "Carter found new evidence." "You're not staying in here for 30 years, Luna. I promise you that." Luna's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. "You still believe in me?" "Always," RJ said. "Love doesn't die, even in places like this." The final scene. As the episode closed, the camera panned out from Luna's tearful face pressed against the glass of the visitation booth. Her voiceover echoed softly. "They can take my freedom, my name, my dreams, but they can't take my heart. Because love doesn't end behind bars." And with that, the bold and the beautiful faded to black, leaving fans in tears and desperate for answers about whether Luna will ever see freedom again.